Welcome to Butterfield Backstage Banter, the BSP podcast where host Jessica DeMent is joined backstage by her guests to banter about theater at Butterfield in Gainesville, Texas.
Hello and welcome to Butterfield Backstage Banter. I'm your host, Jessica DeMent, and today I am joined by Olivia Montgomery.
Hi.
Hello, Olivia. Olivia is one of our actors with our upcoming Butterfield After Dark show, The Wolves. Welcome.
Hi, thank you for having me.
Thank you for joining me. Before we start talking about the show, can you tell the audience a little bit about your theater background?
So I have been in 9 productions before this one at my high school. It will be my first production at Butterfield. And I'm really excited. I've been doing theater since my freshman year of high school, so not a super long time, but I've really loved it so far, and I want to continue to pursue it as I get older. So I really like it. It's been fun.
Well, welcome to Butterfield. We're excited to have you. Sorry, my questions just disappeared on me. Let me get it back up. Can you tell the audience which character you play, and do you identify with that character at all?
I am number 13 in this production, and I identify with her a lot, except for the weed part. Number 13.
I was not expecting that.
Well, I have to clarify. My mom watches these.
That's fair.
I'm So number 13 has an older brother who lives with her, and she is everything she thinks is what she says. She doesn't have impulsive thoughts. They're just thoughts to her, and they just come out. Yeah, everything she thinks she does, and there's very little separation or think twice. She didn't think once. Mm-hmm. And so I really relate to that. And a lot of the things that she says, she makes a lot of jokes, and sometimes they really hurt people, but she always means well. Mm-hmm. And I connect with that pretty heavily. And I think that she serves as comedic relief for a large part of the show, but I think she definitely has some moments where she sobers up her tone a little bit and realizes that she's hurt somebody or that something has happened and she needs to be more serious.
Mm-hmm. That sounds like it's an interesting role, kind of being the comedic relief in such a heavy show.
Yeah, it can be. Everybody's cracking jokes all the time, and everything in this show can usually be flipped into a joke at some point in our conversation. And when 13 makes jokes, she gets chastised a lot. So a lot of people will be like, you can't say that, you can't say that. And she just continues saying what she's saying, which can be hard because sometimes I read her lines and I'm like, you can't say that.
That's fair. Talking about some of those heavier things, when Allison and I had talked about the show, we talked about some of those really heavy topics. Can you talk about how some of those things kind of impact your character, your character's journey in the story?
So a lot of heavy things happen throughout the show, and none of them directly involve 13 until we're near the end. Emery Tarrant's character, number 8, 13 and 8 have an interaction where 8 makes a mention of someone dying of cancer, and 13 turns it into a joke, which turns into making fun of her about her dead mom indirectly, because number 8's mother died of cancer. Mm. And that's one of those moments where we see 13 realize that she's made a mistake and she said something that she shouldn't have said, and she apologizes, which she doesn't do very often, if at all, at any other point in the show for a joke that she's made. Mm-hmm. After that, we kind of see her start to joke less, not just because of that, but also because of other things that take place in the show that I won't spoil for everybody. The heavier things really start to get to her towards the very end, and it's hard a little bit to watch her go from very off the wall and fun to she's very clearly hurting and she doesn't know how to explain that. Mm-hmm. So it's interesting. It's hard.
Yeah, it sounds like it. Speaking of hard, before this show, did you ever play any soccer?
I've never played a sport before this show.
So how hard has it been for you to learn soccer skills for this show?
It's hard because when I do stuff, I want to be good at it immediately. So it was frustrating to really have to take that learning curve and be patient and collaborate with other people, because when you're learning soccer, you're not just learning how to play a sport, you're learning how to play a team sport, which complicates things because you're working with other people. But I think it's been a really fun challenge, and I think it's helped apply techniques for cooperating and learning like choreography and stuff in the future, and being able to listen to each other better.
That's very insightful. What have some of the challenges been that you faced as an actor in this process?
Definitely lines, probably. It's a lot of lines to learn, and it's a lot coupled with the motion of learning soccer. That's been the hardest part, is blocking and doing my lines at the same time, because I'm used to like walking around and talking and picking things up, but it's kick the ball, pay attention to where the ball's being kicked, if it's to you, because if I drop the ball, I'm gonna look like an idiot. So I want to make sure
you don't want to drop the ball or the line.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And so it's hard to manage all of it all at one time. So that's the hardest part, is holding everything together all at once.
And how have you kind of overcome those challenges and worked toward being stage ready for it?
A lot of it is not just playing soccer while I work my lines at home. It's also doing other tasks, so that like I do my chores and I work on my lines. So I'm holding this conversation while I'm passively doing something else. And it helps my brain stretch so that I'm better at focusing on more than one thing at a time. And that's helped me a lot for sure. My brother has helped me a lot work on like doing more than one thing at once. So
that's awesome. That sounds like a skill that will also be very beneficial to you moving on in life, not just on the stage.
Yeah.
So that's awesome. What have some of the highlights of this process been for you so far?
Definitely making new friends. Coming to Butterfield, I was really, really nervous. I already knew some of the actors, Beatrix and Emery. I already knew. She invited me to the audition, and now I'm part of the show, which I'm so thankful for. But I was really nervous because going in, it seemed like all of these girls already knew each other. They went to school together, or they'd done productions together in the past, and that's really nerve-wracking. But they've all been very friendly and very welcoming, and so I think that my favorite part of this show has been getting to know everybody and getting to make these great friends, and I really like them.
That's wonderful. That's actually one of my favorite things about theater too, and doing shows, and just the people that I've met and those relationships that I've built. And a lot of the theater relationships have just sort of a different and more unique kind of vibe. And especially if you've been in a show where as a group you had to overcome something, then you kind of have that win together that helps to cement that friendship. Do you have any funny stories or wins that you'd like to share with the audience?
Probably I came down last week to help our director, Allison Barron, out set up these bleachers that are outside. And it was funny because my brother and I were both here, and we were looking for tools and everything, and they got stuff down the stairs, up the stairs, down the stairs, up the stairs, and these bleachers are so heavy, and it was fun to work all together, and it was special because none of the other actors came and helped. It was just me, actually. So I thought that was kind of funny. Funny, weird. And then I went to Disney World and missed a week of rehearsals.
And had a hurricane fun.
Yeah. So. And it blew me all the way back here to Texas.
Talk about drama.
Yeah, I know.
To wrap up today, can you tell the audience why you think they definitely shouldn't miss this show?
I think what we're doing with this show is important. I think that people that I've talked to ask me, what's this play about? And I tell them, you just have to come see it. Because I say, I'm on a soccer team. Oh, so it's about soccer? I don't think so. Not really. I don't know if there's a sports play that's any less about sports than The Wolves. I think that The Wolves really shows that anything can happen to anyone. And a lot of the time, you don't have any idea that it's happening to them, especially with teenage girls. There's so much that we tell each other while not saying anything to each other at all. And a lot of it is exchanged really subtly. And I think that you have to see it to know that that's happening. And I think that it's fun to act out. And I think it'll be really interesting to watch, to see all of the development of their lives and see how they change and how the circumstances outside of practice follow them into practice, and how what happens in practice comes and carries over into the next one, and how their relationships with each other change. I think that people should come and see it because we are saying something that is important without directly saying it, and you have to see it to know what it is.
That sounds great. Well, y'all heard it from Olivia. You don't want to miss the show. It definitely is important. I think it's going to be a great show, a very unique and interesting experience, as most of our Butterfield After Dark shows are. So you can get tickets online at butterfieldstage.org, or you can call the box office. All the details are below in the box. Olivia, thank you so much for joining me today.
Thank you for having me.
I really appreciate it, and I look forward to seeing y'all on stage.
Thank you. Look forward to seeing you there.
Thank you. Thank you all so much for watching today. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and we'll see you at the theater. Bye.
Thank you for joining us. For more information, please visit butterfieldstage.org.